Hello and welcome back to this edition of Daily Actives brought to you by Bootleg Macro. I'm Dustin. We're going to be diving into the most active stocks on Yahoo Finance for today. Today is, what is it, the 6th of January. Looks like the most active stocks are actually pretty consistent with what we've seen. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at my model real quick. We already have Nvidia up here. You can see what we have is just like a trade card. I'm thinking that Nvidia looks pretty good. I mean, we're at all-time highs. If you look at it on one day, we're up over nearly 3.5% today, up 8.6% over 5 days rolling return. I really love the rolling return as one of my personal favorite things to look at because I think it's really indicative of it tells a much better story than just like the price of one day or even the percentage of one day. But like, look at this. The breakout above is fantastic. I'm going to look at the raw data here because I think one of the things that I find to be most interesting is when I can see it in a table like this, you can see where you saw these down days, just these down rolling weeks here that we were sustaining since looks like I don't know, Thanksgiving all the way through. It's now finally reversed essentially after the 31st. So now the new year brings a whole new vibe back to Nvidia. There's an opportunity here that this could be the beginning of a very nice bullish move just because of like that it's early, it's got a big catalyst. Obviously, you got the election, potential tax cuts. Like there's a lot going on in the world. I mean, potentially like embargoes, I guess, or whatever, tariffs, probably not great. But if we look at this, I mean, the price has really rebounded since what we saw that bearishness at the very beginning of December. I think what we can say confidently now is that we're seeing a return to bullishness, at least in Nvidia. Let's go ahead and look at the charts. So this is the longer term chart. I think it's kind of interesting that essentially, if you really want to be honest, it's been going sideways. Nvidia at best has probably been going sideways unless you were long from May. You know what I mean? Because like if this is the weekly chart, you can see it's essentially been going sideways since then. The breakout that we got was really here May 24th of 2024. Like that is actually the real breakout. This is a retest. That's a retest. We really have like kind of been stopped since we hit this high here at like what 140. This break above 140 into the 150s, I think is gonna be very indicative of where we're gonna be going. And I would say now you can use the low 140s as like just support. I mean, if I look at it too, even on a sentiment indicator, this is really representing essentially bullishness and bearishness inside of the market. The reason why is because you want to look at things as though they're on 100% continuum because you're going to have a market self-contained. What you can see here is that bullishness is just completely returning. You can see that complete lack of bullishness and start the decline actually in the middle of November, right before we got to that looks like Thanksgiving period. When we go ahead and look at the volume, I do like to see that we're seeing a little bit of volume returning. Volume is back up above this. I think that's like the 15-day rolling return of volume. Very good to see. Which I mean, that was the holiday season. To be honest, it's not that like surprising. But if you look at where we are here, this is the middle or end. Yeah, again, end of November, and then essentially we were underneath for quite a while until we got this move in the middle of December for only a few days. That was like a week total, maybe 5 days or so. Things are looking really nice. Now, if you look at the volatility, what I don't like, I would say, is that you're having what looks like falling volatility and rising correlation. So this is the price correlation to the volatility itself. This is a volatility representation for NVIDIA. You can see the volatility has been falling and the correlation is starting to rise. I don't like that. I would prefer it was, I mean, at least it's negative, which means it's usually, if you think about it, two negatives will make a positive. The price will then usually go sideways to up, which is kind of nice, but not with that major vigor. What you want to see, if you want to know how it gets nuts, and this is for pretty much everything, it doesn't just matter if it's NVIDIA or not, you want to see an explosion of volatility, and then you want to see the correlation rise with it. Like that is like a shark. I don't know what you call it. Not a shark. That's like a whale at SeaWorld. You know what I mean? Like that is the show. Because if you can catch that, that's lightning in a bottle. And that's when you see those really nice moves. That's when you see a really nice move. Um, it's really nice. I mean, this is exactly a prime example of it. In the very early of January, you can see where you're seeing it. This is on the weekly as well in terms of volatility. We're seeing a breakout higher in early 2024, and then we're seeing the correlation return with it. And that's usually, I mean, yeah, that's the period. Like this is beginning of 2024 right in here. You got it until what is that? March, and then you got a little bit of a pullback until the middle of April, and then you were higher by June. So like that 6 months was a really great catalyst. And just if you're looking purely at volatility, which is I know a derivative of the underlying like thing, which is the price, but I trust it. I like it. But tell me what you think in the comments below. Are you long? Are you short? Do you like it? Do you love it? And before you go, subscribe to the New High newsletter. I am doing some very new, interesting things that I want to start building with you in terms of like new softwares that I'm actually building, which is why I haven't been writing as much. But for 2025, I'm committed to getting back to it at least 3 times a month because the market is going to be incredibly hot. It's been pretty boring during the Christmas season, between like Thanksgiving and the end of the year. There wasn't really a lot going on unless you want to pick some maybe like some oil trends. But now there's gonna be a lot going on in 2025. So tag along. I'll talk to you soon.